Okay. Hey guys, I'm Matt again. Joining me again is Hutch T. This time he's not playing a game.
Oh, it's been such a long time since I've spoken to you all. What's it been? 10 minutes?
It's even been 10 minutes.
Don't know, it might have been 5.
Right.
But hello, yes, it's Hutch.
This is Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. My favourite Uncharted speedrun. Not favourite for some, isn't that right?
Yes.
Only
because I'm terrible at it, because I didn't practice it enough and I didn't give it the time of day, really.
Yeah, this is the remastered version. So, I'll let you know when the timer starts. I'm going to be using a skin. So, I'm going to start the timer at restart checkpoint. So, I'll let you know when the timer starts. I'm also going to be using a save in case the game crashes, which it can do.
Yes, because unfortunately the game is prone to crashing still. Much like its PS3 counterpart.
Thank you, friends. This one's going to be terrible, though. You should have seen me playing it earlier. So I'm going to be... Last time I did it, I ran this last shots fired and I used the wetsuit Elena skin. This time I'm going to use the wetsuit Drake skin. Just because, you know, fitting. So, I'll give you a countdown. Wait, am I using the speedrun mode? Doesn't matter. Right. Actually, it does matter. Am I using this? No, I'm not. Hold on, I need to switch it.
Well, it might be worth it just explaining about the speedrun timer in general, because it's not 100% accurate.
Yeah, we don't use the speedrun timer to time the run. However, it is required for verification. The reason I actually want to use it for this run is because there's a few spots where I want to restart checkpoint when a chapter starts, and the easiest way for me to tell when it started is by looking when the timer resets. So I'll start that again. I'll let you know when the timer starts. I'm not using Donut Drake. I need to do a lot of precise things with my body. I need to be able to see where I'm going. Thanks for the luck, Walking Dead. Oh, change the skin again. Probably should have gone from down.
We'd like to point out as well that technically speaking, this is actually more broken than the original one.
To a degree.
To a degree, it's actually more broken.
Right, 3, 2, 1, go. So, this first level is really fun, as you can see. It's a very fast-paced action.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have to do this climbing scene with the train. You can technically skip a part of it as well to make it a bit quicker. Matt, are you going to be attempting that, or are you?
Yeah, I'm going to try and do it.
Yeah, so I'll probably explain it now. So when Matt has climbed up this very, very boring segment,
can you jump?
And got.
Can you jump? Thank you.
And got to the top of the train. You can actually grapple onto a part of the train, actually get on top of it where you're not supposed to be able to. Now the collision up there is a bit iffy, and it will try to throw you off the side of the top of the train, even though it's technically flat. As long as you can angle it correctly, and I suppose as long as you jump at the right spot, you can actually jump off the top and you can skip the cutscene that's coming up where the train falls. And Nate has to run off the train and actually jump and grapple onto the side of the cliff.
Yeah, I'll just let you explain everything you know, because you explain it way better than I do. And it's harder for me to explain it while I'm playing.
Exactly.
Mine's just like, okay, so yeah, you roll in this corner, you boost up a bit, and that's it. Thanks. That's my explanation.
And Walking Dead, that's also very true. It is a better start.
Oh yeah, The Last of Us. You'll see The Last of Us tonight. That runs great. Great intro.
But yeah, if Matt's able to pull this off in one go, I can't remember how much time save it is. It's
like 20 seconds maybe.
Yeah, I think it's roughly about 20 seconds.
I roll into this corner and I want to climb up, and hopefully I'll get boosted a little bit in the air like that, and that allows me to climb onto the train. I need to wait a second and then jump. If I jump straight away, there's a good chance I'll get thrown off the side before I get past. Now the camera's going to try to force itself back, so I need to use D-pad up to actually see where I'm going, and then the camera will reset here. How far is the delay behind for you, by the way?
It's about 3 or 4 seconds, so it's not too bad.
That's not too bad now.
But yeah, as you can see, Matt actually was able to pull that off. And what happens here, the camera glitches out because the game is expecting Nate to still be at the beginning part of the train before the cutscene kicks in, where he has to run. It does fix itself once he's got through past the point in which he has to press triangle to open up the door
also,
to one of the...
I'm blind firing here because technically he's injured and he walks really slowly.
Yeah, and to answer your question piece as well, there is a risk to the player from doing that skip on top of the train, but it's not a massive risk because if it fails, you're only probably losing about 4 or 5 seconds because it puts you at the same spot.
Actually, no, the checkpoint is down the ladder, so you have to climb it again.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought it was at the top still.
And sometimes if you mash X to climb up too early, you'll actually just jump when you roll off the ledge and die.
Yeah.
So, basically, if you're going for a PB, if you die, you're just going to reset the run anyway, because it's right at the start.
Yeah.
So there's another trick coming up here, if you want to explain it.
Yeah, so... there's a skip coming up which looks a bit strange.
Nice jump, Matt. Fantastic.
So basically, when there's a certain point on the next carriage that Nate's going to jump to, where you can actually climb up through the ceiling of the train, it's like a tiny gap. If you're able to climb that and actually get technically out of bounds, you can actually skip a segment of the start of this game. I don't actually know what the time save is on that because it's been such a long time since I've tried to run it.
It doesn't save that much. It literally just skips having to trigger the cutscene and waiting for it to collapse.
Yeah. So it's not massive, but it's still good.
Yeah, so I basically got into a little bit of elevated collision in the cart, and that allowed me to climb through the ceiling. So here I want to be slow because sometimes you can actually fall, and that's even slower than just trying to be slow. You have to wait for him anyway, but if you're too eager,
yeah,
then it's very sad.
This can also be a little bit annoying as well. If you're too quick and you go anywhere near near Flynn, then then what tends to happen is he'll actually knock you off, and then you've got to climb and do this bit again, which is really annoying because sometimes it feels like you're not even that close, and he will still knock you off the pipe.
Just give me a boost.
In terms of skips, there is another one that's coming up that's.
I'm probably not going to get it. I'm probably not going to get it, but I'll try.
So basically, what you can do is you can skip a cutscene with Flynn and Nate.
Also, there's something here that you probably don't know about.
What's that?
When I start to move, when the camera resets, I can checkpoint restart, and that'll put Flynn closer to me, so I don't have to wait for him to.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know that.
So when the camera resets towards me there, I restart. I have to wait because you know, I want to save, so it's auto saving, which is nice.
There's also a...
Oh, I wasn't.
Sorry, what was you going to say?
I wasn't going to say anything irrelevant. I mean relevant, so you can.
I wasn't actually either. I was going to mention the ladder here. There's a little glitch that you can do.
Oh, that's what I was going to mention too.
Yeah, if you spam the triangle button near the ladder.
Well, to be fair, I'm going to use that later on in chapter 17, kind of, to do a small skip. So
it doesn't technically help here, but I think it kind of helped for the fact that it told you that you could potentially do it. And yeah, there is much later on. There is a way that you can abuse that, which is something. I think if it's what you're talking about. Okay.
So I'm going to try to do a jump here. It's kind of tricky, but I want to angle myself as I run off this ledge. I try to grab this, and then I want to walk forward a little bit, mash roll. If I can do it correctly, I should be able to. Nah, okay. So as you see, it sucked me right back to the cutscene. I don't know what causes it, but sometimes when you get out of cover, you can just move freely and just skip this cutscene. But I don't know why. I wish I knew exactly why, but no idea. Do you want to explain this next part?
Right, so this next part is really strange. So after the cutscene, there's a cutscene just coming up where they have to cut the power to the alarm on the doors. Spoiler alert, obviously. Now you can actually skip having to wait for the doors to be unlocked and even the power to be cut on the alarms. And the way we do this is Nate can use Flynn and his collision to actually do a cover breach through the door. We don't actually know why it works, but Nate will actually roll and cover against the wall that's behind the door. So if Matt's able to do it on the first go, which generally he does, then
I've already done it.
There you go. Yeah. So
I should point out that right after that, I did a little skip where if you vault over cover, if you hold D-pad or aim, you can actually put an invisible platform under you and you can jump off that, and that allowed me to skip the cover tutorial, which saves a bit of time, obviously.
Yeah.
Right here, I want to jump at these guys. I'm going to use this again, but I'm going to roll instead of jumping. A little bit faster than jumping. If you jump at these guys, you can take them all out in one hit, pretty much.
Yeah, the idea is to actually hit them from the front, because if you hit them from behind, there's a slower animation that kills them in stealth. By jumping as well, you get that jump punch, which is generally quicker. So there's actually, after this point, because it's a bit of a cutscene here, and cutting another alarm for this gate. So...
Oh, the next area is terrible.
The next area, as long as you do it quickly enough, you can actually very largely avoid taking the old-fashioned route of going around the long way and taking out the enemies stealthily. So you can actually just run straight past them and they're completely oblivious. And as long as it works correctly, you can actually get up to the point or the next checkpoint without them even noticing.
It's not as simple as that. Like, even if you do it the same every time, sometimes they'll still see you, and
yeah,
it loses like 30 seconds if you have to do it again. So it's not that big of a deal for a marathon.
It depends. Well, it depends on the tightness of your times, I suppose. But it could be a massive loss if you've got quite tight times.
Yeah, but in
this game, yeah, you don't. It's very rare you get tight times on the splits.
There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong in this one. That's why I love it in marathons.
Yeah. So as French pointed out, this segment of the run is mainly stealth, and there's not a lot going on. There is obviously a couple of things that we've explained, but it does pick up more, especially when it comes to the airwalks. Yeah.
Right, so I did it. Yes.
So yeah, even though the
game's
game's
if they see me, because I can't hear the game, because I have to talk to this beautiful person. What? I shot right at him, dude, and it didn't. Okay. So right here, I want to climb on this ledge, and I can actually skip pushing that just by climbing up onto the box on the edge, and then climbing back left to climb up here without having to move the box.
Good thing one of us thought ahead, eh?
Glitch just has more action. You're irrelevant, Rob.
So yeah, there isn't
this part now with the
wall.
Yeah,
the wall glitch. Yeah, so basically you can skip a slightly slower section. It's not a massive time save, but it does help if you can do it. But it is awkward, and you can die from it.
If you don't get it first try, it's not really worth doing. But it skips a tiny cutscene.
Yeah. So basically, all we do is we cover against the wall, and we aim, and we use that to clip Nate into the wall slightly. And what you can do is, as you clip through the wall, as long as you time it correctly, you can actually jump, and you can grab a ledge that you're supposed to get to anyway, which skips a little cutscene.
I kind of messed it up, but for some reason, I don't know why, but the past few times I've taken cover on that wall, it's aimed my aim right into the wall, which it's not supposed to do.
Yeah, it can be awkward to actually pull off.
That would still be faster though.
Yeah, it would be. Because what can happen is, it depends on where you aim as well. Nate will just change the direction of the way he's jumping, so you can theoretically just jump off to the side and just fall to your death.
I'm going to be able to check my restart here. Also, if you're wondering, the PS3 and PS4 runs of this game are very different. PS4 is faster, surprisingly, but PS3 has an extra glitch. So right as Flynn goes pull out the rope, I'm going to check on restart.
That saves a few seconds.
Yeah,
it's not
so
massive.
You don't have to wait for him to put the rope on.
Yeah.
But on PS3, you could just D-pad airwalk across. No big deal. This is still faster though, because it's a faster version of the game. Whatever reason. Mainly areas. So I'm going to.
I can see your house. Let's get moving.
Sometimes the camera can bug out here for whatever reason. I don't know what causes it, but sometimes the camera can just stay on these monkey bars when you vault over this ledge, and I have no idea why.
I've never actually noticed that.
Yeah, it's rare, but it can happen. I've had it happen twice in a row before. But you just have to, like, once you aim, you can still see where you're going, so you just re-aim, and then it'll fix the camera so you can have an idea of where you have to go.
Yeah.
Kind of like at the start, but... So, yeah, I want to be slow because I need Flynn to be ahead of me.
Yeah.
He has to trigger this.
Because... Yeah, he does. He needs to trigger the next area because he has to open up the window or the... Is it a window or is it... Yeah, it's a large window, ain't it? He has to open it. If you block him, then technically speaking, he'll stagger, so it'll take a bit longer for him to get to the window.
We're clear.
Exactly.
So this next bit, I remember when I was younger playing this on the PS3, I used to think, oh wow, this bit was actually quite hard because of the snipers, but it's really easy. Especially on Explorer, because you literally just have to run past them and they won't do anything. But there's snipers, so in the next cutscene, what technically happens is Nate opens the... Oh, no, sorry. Nate doesn't open anything. They find the artifact they need, and...
Oh, one thing I should point out, big movement tech. So this game has landing animations, like rolls when you hit the ground if you jump from a certain height, but if you just aim, it cancels that and allows us to keep moving.
Yeah.
That's a big... thing in this one.
You can use that in a couple of places, like stairs, for example. So you noticed earlier that Matt was spraying his gun as he was running on the stairs. That can cancel a slower animation when climbing and descending stairs, although obviously descending you'd be jumping. But
also it's faster to just run when you have combat speed.
Yeah.
Slightly faster, I think. It's not much faster, but...
I think in Uncharted 1 it matters more than in Uncharted 2.
You run a lot faster.
Uncharted 1 you do run a hell faster. But in this it's not too bad.
Right, so
is it this that we spam jumps on anything, or is that Uncharted 3?
Uncharted 3, I think you spam jumps all the time. You don't.
Yeah. So the movement tech in that is mainly spamming jumps.
And in Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy, you run in combat again.
Yeah.
So this is chapter 3. This is where the run gets very interesting.
And a bit more broken.
So there is a strat I could do here where I could show off the airwalk a lot earlier, but I'm not going to do it because it's slightly slower. But I am going to be doing a strat that is slightly riskier, which means I can die. And then if I die, I have to do a part again, which will probably cost you about 15-20 seconds, I think, but it should be okay.
Yeah,
so,
I think there's quite a few things in this on this chapter and the next chapter that can cause a bit of a loss.
So we need to kill all the enemies here so we can actually use the journal, because that's what is very broken in this game.
Yeah. Do you want me to explain about the journal?
You can explain the launches, because that's what I'm going to do first.
The launch.
Or the book launch for you.
Oh, right, yeah. So, sorry, I had to think for a moment there. So basically, we can use the journal to basically make Nate kind of float in the air. It rises Nate to a certain position, and you can vary the position depending on how you perform the glitch. And it's all to do with the way that the journal's pulled out when you're standing on the edge of like a path or a rock or something like that, that makes Nate stagger a little bit. So as you probably just witnessed, Nate floated up in the air, and you can use that to actually grapple the ledge.
It's actually, you go a lot higher if you do it with a long gun instead of a pistol. So this is why we pick up the AK here, so I can get more height from this one.
Yeah, you can also use the journal to do a partial airwalk. Airwalking is a thing in this game, and I personally hate it. But
if you press the journal with a gun out, Nate will keep walking until he puts the gun away. I don't know how that got past QA, but then I don't know how a lot of things got past QA in these games. So yeah, we can use that to extend our walk slightly off a ledge, but it only matters in a few seconds.
Yeah. As you're probably seeing,
there is a skip you can do here, where you can skip this cutscene and skip a little bit, but it's really, 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 really hard. I'm not even going to try and do.
Wait, which cutscene are you referring? Oh, you on about the?
You can get over that trigger for the chapter 4 start. Well, the chapter.
Oh
4
right, okay, that's off to the right a little bit, ain't it?
Hmm.
Yeah, right, okay,
You
that
can
one
skip
is
doing
really
all
hard.
this. Nice. So right near here, I need to get an assault rifle and a pistol. Very important. Where am I going? Very important. So having 2 guns in this game is very important. Could do another launch here to skip this fight. Also, you're not meant to be able to use the journal in combat. This is one place where you can. No idea why. So right there, you just saw the game give me 4 grenades. That's very, very handy, actually. Because I'm going to be using that right here. Did you want to explain the airwalk?
Yeah, so, wait, which airwalk? Are you referring to the one to skip?
The one to skip the...
Yeah, right, okay. So, Matt's, the next area, Matt's supposed to go through some ruins to find out about, is it to do with is it the Spanish stuff still? Is it the Spanish stuff on this one?
I think so.
Well, either way, you can avoid doing that area completely, and you can actually skip that portion of this chapter by doing an airwalk.
Actually, I'll let you finish and I'll explain after, because they're going to have no idea why I'm going to do an airwalk without doing anything.
Yeah, so basically, with the airwalk, you can pull out a grenade and you can actually prepare the grenade to be thrown. And now, this is the way that we get out of the airwalk, because you soft lock into it. What you're basically doing is, to get out of it, the explosion knocks Nate backwards, so it disturbs him from the soft lock state. That's the only way to get out of it. If you don't get out of it, then that skip doesn't work.
Also, if you knock yourself out of it with a grenade, then you can actually just re-enable the airwalk by pressing journal. If you don't pull out a gun. So I use that there to get across that little gap to hit the cutscene. Also, right here, you have to run away from this Jeep. If I roll, as the section ends, I can actually stagger into the next cutscene. Saves a few seconds.
Yeah, because basically, if you just leave it and you end up at the starting point, Nate will walk very slowly through the alleyway. So even though it's only a few seconds, it's still a few seconds, and you can basically roll into it to avoid that. So
this is one of the hardest parts in the game. This is, I would say, my last shots fired run. I think I lost about 5 minutes on this.
This is probably the toughest part of the game, I'd say.
Maybe I'll get it first try. So do you want to explain it? Or...
Yeah. So which one are you doing? Are you doing the safer one?
Yeah.
Right, so this area, there's probably 2 or 3 ways that you can do an airwalk. It skips a large part of this chapter.
Are you kidding me?
I
was right behind him and I went to take him out silently, and it just punched him. I need to take him out silently because I need his grenade. I need 2 grenades or I can't do this. So he'll drop one when I kill him. This guy drops one when I kill him. So I need to get those grenades. So I want to do a buff launch here to get on this big roof.
Is rolling more consistent than jumping after the truck? Yeah. Yeah, it would be. French. Because you roll further than you jump, I think. Is that right?
All I know is when I ever tried to do it when I was jumping, it just didn't work. So I'm going to use a relatively precise setup here. I think that should work. So basically what I'm doing is I'm doing an airwalk across a really large distance to skip the entirety of chapter 5 and 6. It's not that precise because you get a lot of collision that pushes you in different directions. Oh yeah, that's fine. So I basically need to just hold this for a while. The screen will turn black. Once the screen turns black, I need to count about 2 seconds and then pause. If I don't pause, there's a good chance I'll load into an area I don't want to and be stuck. If I pause too late, I can get past the wall that I need to hit to push me to the left.
Yeah, this game has kind of like visual cues to load certain things in, which we worked out with the photo mode. Photo mode you can use to actually load in areas that might have been unloaded.
No, you can't.
Sorry, what?
I don't think you can in this game. I think it's only UC1.
Well, no, because if you remember, if you aim the camera, you can get everything to load in, can't you?
So as you can see, I can see my grenade reticle, and I'm touching this wall right here. You can see where it's hitting the collision. So I'll pop around this wall, and I'll be heading in the same direction every time. The first airwalk's pretty tricky. because you need to get the angle correct. If you're a bit too far to the left or right, it won't work. So when the game cuts out, I need to wait about a second and then pause. Like that. If I pause too early, I'll be stuck out of bounds. So when I see the mountain despawn in the background, I'll just unpause. And that will load me into this area. And then I'm going to be doing another airwalk where I won't be taking out my guns to do it. Also, I'm going to play this safe and just throw the grenade. Usually I'd throw the grenade straight away, but sometimes... Oh, never mind. I took out my guns because I'll be retarded. So I'm just going to have to do it the old way.
It's unfortunately this skip is I think probably the hardest in the game.
Oh my god, dude.
Wow.
I'm just going to do this the normal way. I'm not doing the airwalk again.
Yeah, so basically by doing that skip, you actually avoid a lot of checkpoints. If it goes wrong at any point, you go really far back.
I probably should mention that I only have one try to do the airwalk. If I pull out the grenade, then the grenade won't be delayed the next time I pull it out, so I can't use it to regain control.
Lucky for us.
However, I can skip part of this, but I'm going to have to do a pretty precise jump. Good knowing the backup strats, dude.
Yeah.
So I can skip the helicopter. I need to climb onto this. This is actually really hard. And I hate it, but I can give it a try. It's the only way to get it. Oh. Why did I fail the airwalk? I had one job. One job, dude. One job. That's all I had. One job. I had a brain fart and I just forgot which way I wanted to position my hands to do it, and I delayed it too long. See, this is what happens when I think about the stuff I'm doing in my speedruns. I just...
Well, if you feel like it's too confusing, I'm here as well. I'm sure everyone loves hearing some Essex twat.
Well, I just don't want to spend too long trying to get across this bloody gap now.
It's fair enough.
Because it's hard. No! Don't die! Oh. Okay. I'm just gonna do it this way. Oh, nice jump, dude. That was fantastic. Definitely in a straight line. I probably would have been better off just restarting and doing the airwalk again.
See, unfortunately, there's a lot that can go wrong in this run.
That loses a lot of time.
Yeah, which is also one of the reasons why I kind of rage quit speedrunning it, but I think it was because I just didn't really give it the time of day, but I will be coming back to it because I'm going to be starting speedrunning again soon. Probably.
What? It's not the new controller. The new controller's actually nice. Thank you. Hello?
So out of all of the games, Uncharted 2, like the remaster, is actually the hardest out of all of the runs. Because there's so much tech to do, I suppose.
Why this jump's so precise? Oh shit, like it angled right at the last second. I mean,
if it continues to happen, you're just going to have to use backup strats or just do it the old-fashioned way to get past.
You mean to actually kill the helicopter?
Yeah, because it don't take that long on Explorer.
Oh, I don't want to. I shouldn't have. It's the easiest airwalk in the game, dude. I couldn't even start the airwalk because I'm retarded. Wow. Oh, come on! Dude.
So, if no one had guessed so far, Matt is retarded.
Exactly that. I mean, this wouldn't be a problem if I didn't have to keep doing this fight every time I wanted to do the jump. This jump's really hard. This jump's like probably one of the hardest tricks in the game. We don't even do it. We're not meant to do it. Because we skip doing it. It's a shame that I can't airwalk because I can't use the journal because we're in combat. Or else I'd just airwalk across. Yeah.
Unfortunately, as soon as you go into combat, you cannot get the journal out at all.
Nailed it. Nailed it. First try. First try, baby. First try. Don't worry about it. So this is where the airwalk would have put me. Forget that I suck.
Wire.
No one is going to forget you suck.
Go, go.
Well, to be fair, it's not that bad. I mean, I could be at the worst time right now. I've only lost like 3 minutes. It's not terrible. Like, the run was okay up until then.
Oh god, that hurts.
You haven't seen me actually rage. That wasn't me actually raging.
No, you haven't actually seen Matt rage until you've watched his streams. Unless you've actually been in his streams, then you'll know.
Usually my marathon runs go well, but no runs this game go well because
It's Hutch luck, that's why. Hutch luck is bad luck, mate.
it's good luck for me. What do you mean?
It's because you love me so much.
Nice. Right, chapter 7. Hopefully I won't fail any more airwalks because I
What's next?
get how to do them apparently. I was literally thinking to myself, how do I do this again? do I hold the right stick with my left hand or my right hand? I don't know. So now I get the Uzi. A good RMG there. The guy didn't run away.
Thanks.
You don't understand how hard that jump actually is. And I haven't had to do it in about 2 years. So I'm going to airwalk across this gap.
Far side.
And I want to hit the stairs because that will give me a checkpoint that triggers the fight. Nice auto saving because I'm using a save. Fantastic. That skips doing a little puzzle. Not really a puzzle, but you have to do things and then things happen in the game. That's usually what you skip when things happen.
Tomato, it wouldn't be the same without Nathan in a wetsuit. Or Elena.
Or Elena. If you want to see Elena in a wetsuit, watch my
Or
run.
Chloe. Look, I don't. There's no skin with Chloe wearing a
No,
wetsuit, is there?
it's only these two.
Pretty much.
I don't even think Sully has one, but could you imagine that? So right, I'm going to roll and jump. Try and cancel walking across this ledge really slowly. It's actually kind of difficult.
Unfortunately for me, it's growing increasingly difficult now to actually sort of speak about where Matt is. So I'll try and sort of talk as Matt says something because from what I'm watching, it's delayed a bit further. So I'll try and say some stuff as Matt
Well, if
brings
there's
up.
something that I want you to explain, you
Yeah.
can just explain it. I don't have to be at that point. So I'm going to do an upwards airwalk here, so you can actually journal launch or book launch while doing an airwalk at the same time. I completely butchered it though because I didn't go in a straight line. So this is actually because you basically combining the regular airwalk with a book launch, and that allows us to go infinitely into the air. And I want to use this to wait. What? Why did it push me to the right? I've never seen it do that before.
There's a good fact here as well that the area that you need to get into, which is underneath the level slightly, is actually loaded in, and there is a prompt
No way, you just want to see my
underneath
area.
there. Is that not this area?
No, it's the next area.
Next area. Okay.
This
well,
area
next
isn't
area.
loaded at this point. I wish it was. What the fuck is happening?
Oh yeah, so it's just after this point.
I've never
But,
messed
yeah.
this up before, and now I can't do it. It just keeps pushing me left and right, even though I'm going in a straight line. I'm so confused. Help me. Can you do this run for me? I'm terrible.
You're asking me.
It did it again! Oh my god. I'm just gonna do it the normal way. That barely saves any time. I hate my life.
Matthew. Woosah. Rub your ears.
I'm just I can't, dude, this game is just... I mean, to be fair, I wasn't actually meant to run this. This is
Hang
a
on, I'm gonna get a closer look at
run
this thing.
because someone dropped out.
I'll just
So that's my excuse. I was meant to get up here. Wow, look how much time that would have saved, guys. Fantastic. Now I want to do an airwalk across this gap. Skip. Climbing around. That's slow.
Matt, I would say after a couple of attempts or a few attempts, it might be worth just
Thank you.
doing it the older way.
Oh, I am.
On
I've
some
done it
areas.
already. Oh, you.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying in general.
right there,
Because
if I
unfortunately
wait,
it can be a bit.
if I wait to jump, I can skip his stagger animation, so I can keep jumping up instead of him just staggering. I'm going to do a tiny little book launch here to reach this ledge a little bit earlier. You can actually just run off that ledge and grab it, but it's a little bit harder. That's that puzzle done. Should have been done really easily if I'd have done it the safe way, but I'm retarded. But I didn't think I'd mess that airwalk up because I never have before, so it's nice.
Dark Dante just said, "Quick, use SharePlay and turn this into a cart run."
You implying that Hutch is ever going to play this game? Never going to
I
happen.
I am going to play this game.
Alright,
just
let me rephrase that. Play this
not
game
yet.
well.
What is it?
Fuck off.
Can't even do 18.
I did not say that on stream. I did not say that on stream. You never heard those words.
Find out what it is.
Cover your ears.
Pretty creepy, but say
Chapter 4, the optimized route. What do you mean? I mean, I could have done an extra skip to skip the cutscene, but it's really hard and no one's actually done it in a run yet. I mean, I didn't find it that long ago.
But it's quite precise, ain't it? Because the wall's so high.
You need to book launch at a really specific angle, get enough height that you can jump over the branches but land on a small branch. And it's just it's retarded, and it only saves like 20 seconds.
You game?
ladies first.
Well, you say only, but
Yeah, but for how hard it is, dude.
well, yeah, for how hard it is, if it was made consistent and easy enough, then yeah, I suppose it would be worth it.
The problem is getting the precise setups with these book launches is just
Yeah,
it ain't happening.
you need to be really precise on the timing of when you press the inputs for what you're intending to do with the book launch.
Kind of girl.
By the way, I should point out I can't actually hear the game because I have to hear this twat, so
Thanks.
no problem.
Probably.
I'd rather hear you though.
A little bit of a drop.
Alright, I'm coming.
Very friendly guy, as by when he told me to fuck off earlier.
Little.
Yeah, maybe I underestimated. Looks like some kind of tree.
Listen, you fired shots at me.
But so there's a pit here that we're usually supposed to fall into,
Opening up down here.
but I don't want to do that. So I need to get there before Chloe does, because if she falls in, I can't actually skip it. So what I can do is I can hit the trigger and then jump backwards, and that'll allow me to book launch to get across the gap. I could have actually done the grenade airwalk, so I didn't do that other strap, but never mind. So now I'm going to be doing an upwards grenade airwalk to skip this first puzzle arm. Oh, I got the really slow one. This is going to take a while.
Well, this is technically the area that I was talking about as well, where the room where you need to go to is actually underneath with the button prompt, and you can get to it, but for some reason, and I presume it's because you haven't hit the right
You mean
checkpoint
chapter
trigger.
5, Rob, not 4. With that long airwalk, it was chapter 5. The one that I did the hard part and then failed the easy part, and then it took me like 10 minutes to jump across that gap. So right here, since I skipped the arm, I need to, well, the dagger, I need to restart after this cutscene, because if I don't, then when I try to do the next one, it will soft lock the game. Won't soft lock, but it'll hard lock and after checkpoint restart. Soft lock. Hard lock means it would never. Okay, never mind. It does soft lock. You just have to checkpoint restart. Ignore me.
Yeah, this game,
Chloe,
we could quite easily say that this is the most broken one out of all of them.
nice work.
Even more so than Uncharted 1.
Hold on.
Hey, I think we're getting close.
Uncharted 1 has probably the most broken glitch in the game, but that's
What, with the airwalk?
No, with the aim clipping.
That did it.
Well, yeah, the aim clipping,
but
even
that
the airwalk, which is
you
a horrible
basically
character.
just do the same glitch the entire run, whereas this game has a bunch of glitches that it utilizes. So I'm going to try an airwalk here. I'm going to try it once. If I don't get it, we do the normal way. Fantastic! Didn't even time it right. Amazing.
Yeah, the airwalks are basically Matt's trying to airwalk to one part of the dagger to skip
Do it the normal way.
to skip climbing up the normal way, which puts him in a cutscene. But it's not the easiest to get. It's inconsistent.
I'm just going to climb it. I'm scrub.
One more blade to go.
I'm actually Hutch T, by the way.
No, you're not. There is only one hatch, and that's me. Me
So
to a
it
T.
would basically put me into this cutscene right here. It doesn't save that much time, but for how hard it is anyway. Well, not how hard, but how inconsistent. Because you have to time moving and then journal in a really precise manner, so you get enough speed and enough height to hit the trigger. If you're too low, it won't work. Too high, you'll go over it.
We just need to adjust that other reflector.
On my way.
You just put these moves in a specific place so it lines up
Good,
with
that's
the
it.
light. It's not that precise. You just have to put them in the Like I usually line up the corners
yeah.
of the mirror with the sides of the.
That's the thing. As long as you're in the general right place, it will pick it up.
As long as a pixel of the light shines on the mirror, you're good. Basically. So I'm going to be doing a skip here. So Warren said that you can clip into the area below. I'm going the wrong way. I'm actually going to do that. It's slightly faster than climbing down the mouth. It's a shame that you can't do it to skip this entire area, but you know. So I'm basically going to do the first instance of backwards cover clipping. So I'm going to clip backwards through this cover, drop onto the roof of this area, and trigger the cutscene from above. So the way I did that was, if you take cover, aim away from the cover, and then move either left or right, Nate will force himself back slightly. And if you then get out of cover, as he does that, you can actually just clip through the cover. It's very handy for stuff later in the round.
Yeah.
One of the hardest skips in the game that Warren can't do.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I think that's just my own fault and impatience, to be honest.
Impatience.
Yeah.
I told you I'd teach you how to do it. He's very ignorant about the situation.
Well, like I said, I'm coming back to the game anyway, and the entire series, so you're more than welcome to assist me.
I can assist you.
Wink, wink.
Why don't you ask him? So he's better than me.
Because you are my friend.
That's a good point. I'm your friend. Wait, I thought we were lovers. What do you mean? I forgot to mention it's chapter 10.
You're not supposed to tell the 300 odd viewers that we're lovers. No, we're really not. Matt abuses me all the time.
That's true. So this is chapter 10. You just have to run. You'll see her teleporting Chloe in a second because
she's got the skills.
I need this pistol, very important pistol, because this next fight is kind of awkward without the pistol, because the AK is not a very consistent gun at long range, but apparently the pistol is. Can you believe that? So I'm going to avoid this guy. I'm going to stand on this carpet. You don't have to, but if you get too close to him, he'll just whack you. Don't want that. So kill these guys with the pistol, because the pistol is the best gun. Very accurate weapon. Fast destruction. One more guy. Or two more. Okay. I don't play this game that often anymore, so that's my excuse for this one being terrible.
Rob, not saying that at all, but I have my general Uncharted friends and people I've spoken to that I've spoken to a hell of a lot more. So
yeah, Jeff got shot. It's a very sad moment in time. I would have used Jeff's skin, but I don't have it, and I'm not collected 80 treasures for it, so fuck off. So basically in this section we just have to carry him. He can stagger, but to avoid this we just tap aim every few seconds, and that will reset his stagger timer, I think, and then it just never happens. We just tap aim.
Facts, yeah, Matt does aim with a controller. This game is PS4, so...
Right, so after we get past this box, we upon restart, that puts Elena and Chloe up further ahead. We need them to, well, Elena to open the door. Because Mr. Nathan can't open it himself.
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating as well, because sometimes for whatever reason they delay a little bit, even though if you do the right steps...
Also, she doesn't die from this.
Heads up! Elena!
Wait, that doesn't kill her, apparently. Also, this guy will just flop and die. He's dead now. Maybe just wait for this glass to blow up. That'll be fine. Oh, the train level's coming up nice. Exciting.
Yeah, the train's really interesting in the sense that you can actually skip. It's roughly about 6 minutes, ain't it, Matt?
I think the entire section's about 6-7 minutes, but the skip takes like 4, but it still says like 2 minutes.
Yeah. So on the PS3, it's much easier to perform the skip that's coming up in a little bit. On the PS4, it's really hard to do, and one slip of the left stick when you're performing this can completely reset your progress, which is really frustrating.
Imagine getting right to the end and then falling off, dude. That's have to wait another 4 minutes. Turn around. Or was he facing the other way? I don't know.
Okay.
Hurry! Up this way!
Yes, unfortunately, Jeff has now perished.
Come on, you gotta
Yeah,
go!
Jeff,
Rip.
Jeff,
Rip Jeff.
Best character in the game that we only seen like twice.
Rip Jeff 15, 2016, 2017, and 2018 on numerous occasions. That poor guy.
All the speedruns in the past 3 years have just died. So I need to stealth take out this guy for a grenade, very important. Also I need to kill every... Oh, or just punch me, you bald person, thank you. So I need to kill every enemy here so I can use the journal. Because I'm going to skip this next fight.
All clear.
So
Yeah,
I
this
need to-
area is a bit complicated. It can be complicated. If you don't perform it right, it kind of throws you in a bit of a tight situation. And it takes a lot longer to do the area if you don't perform this skip.
Let's head to that water.
Can you not jump against the lamppost, Dex? For some reason I've been really messing up this upwards airwalk recently. It keeps sending me really fast. I don't know why. So we basically just get up here and then give that fight. Now when we get onto this zip line, we can just or we can just grab that ledge. That's okay too. We can just checkpoint restart and skip the zip line.
George just said define bald, Matt. He had
Right,
hair.
if you've got really short hair, you just look bald to me, especially if you're in a game. So
It depends. If the hair texture is completely flat, then it might look bald. but-
exactly, that's my point. Maybe
If
he's
it's
just, maybe
got
he's just got
detail
a
in
really
it.
weird tan on his head that just makes it look like he has hair when he doesn't.
Gotta be a way out of here.
So you don't actually have to go all the way around there. You can just jump across this little gap.
Also, just to point out that when Matt pushed that cart to get to the door, you don't technically have to push that all the way.
Yeah. Actually, that's the door.
As long as you just past the door, when you've got the button prompt, you can just go straight in.
So this part's really weird. You need to kill enough enemies to spawn the snipers. And you need to kill the snipers and the enemies that come with the snipers, and then the next sniper will spawn. But some of the enemies can be dicks and.
So is this timed, or has it been worked out that we do actually need to kill
No,
a
it's not
set
timed.
number?
It's only timed when the armored guys spawn.
Right, okay. So it's to force the snipers to spawn, and they must be killed as well quickly in order to get the armored guys to appear. I remember when I actually played this on the PS3 that I struggled with this area a little bit. Even though you're technically behind cover, I did struggle. It's amazing what adding Explorer mode can do.
Oh, I missed nice. Really weird not being able to hit again. Right, that should be, and now the truck should spawn. Yep, here it comes. So we'll just take out the snipers. The armored dudes will spawn. I'm gonna do this a safer way because I've actually jumped out the back window and died before trying to run to the jeep. But once I'm gonna hold D-pad up. Once I see the camera change for Elena, I'm gonna vault out the window and just run to the jeep, and that'll trigger the cutscene when I get to it. But if you are too fast and jump out that window there, you can sometimes die because there's a death barrier over here. That didn't happen. Now we got the train. Very exciting. So I'm going to be doing the first instance of cover clipping. Well, cover shuffling. Whatever you want to call it. To get off of this ledge. So when you're in cover, Nate is technically locked into a floating position because when he's in cover. So I'm going to shimmy off of the train. So I can float on the track. This takes quite a while on PS4. On PS3 this is really easy. One of the perks of running on PS3, but 60 FPS just doesn't like this. And I suck at it. It's been a while. Oh, come on. Stop doing that.
So yeah, when you're flicking the left stick to perform this glitch, when you're flicking back to the right position, if you hold onto the stick for too long, it will reset the position that Nate's at.
Right, so now I am basically all the way over there in the middle of the track, as you can see. I can aim to see where I am. Also, if anyone has motion sickness, I would advise not watching this because we have to sit here around 4 minutes.
Matt, it might be worth as well, just to avoid some of the motion sickness so that people don't actually turn away from the screen, it might be worth aiming every now and again as well so that they don't...
Yeah, but I just want them to see the camera.
Oh yeah, no. So the camera believes that you're still technically on the train, but it also knows that Nate's further back. So what happens is the camera starts to violently shake on the screen because it's trying to... I don't know, I suppose trying to go back to Nate in some respects, but it's still stuck on the train. So yeah, if you let the camera just do what it wants to do, then it does actually look like you're being thrown around.
Should also point out that this entire section is on a loop. So the train is going to come back, and that allows us to hit a checkpoint and a cutscene at the end of the train, which skips the entire 2 chapters.
Yeah.
So you just wait for that train to come back.
So also, whilst the train is going round, there's a fun fact. Well, I say fun fact, it might not be a fun fact, I don't really know, it's up to you. But we found out recently from, well, the developers had basically told people that Nate doesn't have a health bar, even though technically speaking it is kind of a health bar. So it's based on luck, so it's like kind of like a luck percentage. So when the enemies shoot Nate, I presume that it's when they shoot him, if the bullets are fairly close to him, then his luck counter drops. And then if it drops far enough, then depending on the shot that's been fired, if it's close enough to Nate, then it might finish him off. So it's a bit of a weird system.
We go into Hogwarts, boys. Nice.
Oh, God.
So yeah, I just want to wait. I'm going to wait for the current timer to get to like 4 minutes because took me about a minute to get off when usually it should only take about 40 seconds because I suck. I literally have done like, I haven't ran this in a while, and I literally did 1 run the other day. So
the child in me liked that sentence, Matt.
What did I say?
He said it takes you a minute to get off, but usually it takes you seconds. No. Sorry, I'm quite. I can be quite immature
that
for a 31-year-old.
That went completely over my head. I'm quite surprised I didn't catch on. I'm just gonna aim, and a good way to tell which player the train's gonna come from is I got off on the right side of the track, the way I'm facing, so it's just.
Zep, yeah, basically it is uninterrupted cinematic experience. It's to make you believe that Nate is like God, and then it's 1 bullet that will actually kill him. Because if you look, technically speaking, the bullets don't hit you; they're just very close. But it kind of looks like he's getting hit.
This is basically the more you get hit, the more you're gonna get hit.
Yeah.
The first few shots will always miss. But that technically, I would say that's the same in The Last of Us, but that is completely bullshit.
And then obviously on the harder difficulties, the percentage chance of you actually taking that bullet hit is extremely high.
So here's the train. I'm going to try and do a thing. If I let go of aim at a very specific point, I don't know, it's really random, but I can actually get the cutscene to trigger about 20 seconds sooner. I'll see if I get it. So up here's going to be a big tank. And I need to unaim.
Here comes Thomas.
I messed it up because usually... Yeah, I didn't get it. Usually the train is at an angle when I clip out, so I can actually see the part coming, but I couldn't see it. So eventually, as you can see, I'm losing a lot of time. Eventually I'll fall into like this container here, and then the cutscene will trigger. Right about now. And that was chapter 14 and... No, chapter 13 and 14. Now we're on chapter 15, and you may be thinking to yourself, oh wow, you're back at the start of the game, what a god. Going backwards. Yeah, if you enjoyed the climb at the start, I get to do it again, so...
Yeah, just to point out as well that we've tried to skip from chapter 1 to chapter 15 because it's the same area, but unfortunately there's no...
It may be possible. One thing that we know there's a fight in this chapter. We know that once you trigger that fight, the cutscene will then spawn for chapter 16. But it's either the cutscene has to be somewhere on the map. Can you jump? Why is this not working anymore? It won't jump up there yet. Oh, whatever.
Come on.
Because he's just reaching out.
He's wearing a swimsuit in the snow because he likes to be frisky. Likes to live on the edge. He lives in Antarctica
Also,
like me.
Skin tight, it might retain the heat better.
Yeah, so
Other than the fact that he's barefoot.
Yeah, on this part, once you climb in there, it just auto puts you out. You don't actually have to climb inside.
What else could go wrong?
So it's not as bad as this climb at the start.
Yeah, which is one thing they probably.
Also, we don't want to do the same
starting
skip from the start because we need to actually trigger the cutscene to progress. So
Yeah, because if you don't, then you don't progress anywhere.
which is a shame, but that trick's gay anyway. I'm quite surprised about it first try.
But then saying that, it's not too bad because once you run through the train, I think it's all. So.
No, it's not. You still have to jump.
Really?
Yeah, you still have to jump through it like the first one. But it just changed the on chapter 1. If I wasn't to do that skip, the camera would be facing forward here, I think. But in chapter 15, it faces backwards.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah, of course.
So. Yeah, now he'll get up after his long snap, even though he's been there for like 2 seconds, and then he'll walk away. And then we get to do the fight. Now this is the fight that if you could trigger from chapter 1, you could skip half the game or whatever already done. Sadly you can't. Surprisingly, we've done 15 chapters, but there's still a lot more left to do, and there's only like.
How many chapters in this?
26.
Is it 20? Yeah.
The last chapters are long, so I need to kill these enemies very, very fast. I also need to get a grenade because that speeds up a later part. There's one right there.
Yeah.
These enemies just aren't dying yet. I shot him right in the face.
Just to note as well, in this area, during this fight, if you actually try to skip past it, because you can technically climb up the rock, Nate will just randomly die up the top.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, he won't die. Yeah, you only die. Oh, yeah, you will, yeah. You only
yeah,
die
you do,
if you're
you die.
in the fight, but if you're not in the fight, you don't die.
Yeah.
So, right
So
here,
for some reason, I think
nade.
it puts a is it a death plane up there or something?
Yeah. So I throw a nade to kill most of these guys as they jump off. And then armored dudes will now spawn, which I want to shoot in the head, obviously. These armored guys are a pain on any other difficulty, but on these, literally a piece of piss. I like regular enemies on the other difficulties, to be honest. But I can actually do that little skip, climb up here, and I can, if I was to roll and then jump really quickly, I can skip the stagger animation. Now we're in chapter 16. This is the shortest chapter in the game. It's only 58 seconds, as you can see. Not because the skips, it's just this is a chapter that they sort of decided to put into the game.
Got it. Follow you.
So I have 10 to open this. So normally you're not meant to roll here, but if we press D-pad up and then press roll, we can actually roll.
Excuse me.
Also, you can jump upstairs.
What?
In this section, you just have to basically get to the end of this part as fast
Yeah,
as
it's
possible.
not timed or anything. You don't have to wait for Thames in, thankfully.
Kick the ball.
You can jump up these stairs. Don't want to climb shit. You don't want to climb because that's slow. So the next chapter coming up, hey French in chat. I say hey French. He'll kill me if I don't say it, but the twat I'm talking to right now, he found a way to boost up a part of collision on this wall right here. Let me see if I can actually do it. No. But you can actually use that to launch really far out of bounds. And hey French in the chat found a way to skip this entire chapter with it. But it's really, really retarded.
And extremely hard to do as well. It's quite precise. You've got to position yourself probably correctly and do the right inputs to make sure that you get the elevation and the boost that you need to try and do the skip. But it depends on where you get launched. but it does throw you really far, and it is very inconsistent.
World record does it,
That's
but
almost impossible to...
I'm not going to talk about that.
Let's just swing across on the 70-year-old rope.
But I don't do it because it's retarded. But I like this chapter anyway. It's very chill. I actually did find technically a new skip a few days ago for this chapter, which saves 10-15 seconds. I don't know.
Is that the ladder?
Yeah. So ages ago, this twat here, I'm gonna call him this twat for now. He found a way.
Call me the Essex twat.
The Essex twat, yeah. He found a way to use. This is what I was referring to earlier at the start, where you can use the triangle prompts for ladders and stuff. And he found a way to boost yourself a tiny bit up to grab the ladder without having to boost Tenzin, but he couldn't figure out a way to do it consistently. A few days ago, I found a consistent way to do it, so I will be doing that.
It's a small skip. It probably saves, what, several seconds, maybe?
Yeah, not that much, like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I think.
It's a little bit finicky as well, because when you boost yourself, because the game doesn't think that you should be there at that point because you haven't triggered the cutscene with Tenzin, it will actually try to make you walk back to the original spot. So you have to be... I can't remember how you got around that. I think it's aiming or constantly jumping. But once you get to the next part, when it triggers... there must be some sort of trigger there. It stops you.
I think you just have to...
doing that.
If you walk into the trigger and press triangle, it will try to walk you. But if you stand still, then press triangle, it doesn't do it.
Right.
What I tested it. But we just basically have to follow this retard. You can get ahead of him here. I jump across this before he does, but it's really risky because if you don't climb up fast enough, you'll just all do that. This rope is fucking retarded. So if you went across before him, I did it. This game is so stupid. I'm gonna wait for this retard to actually climb up before I attempt to jump across.
Yeah, unfortunately that can fail for no reason. Like Nate sort of gets stuck and he don't boost him enough, and we don't know why. Probably just hits a bit of.
I think it's because I was too fast because Tenzin was on the ledge, but
yeah, I think he blocks the jump and makes Nate look like he's incapable of
doing anything.
Doing anything, yeah.
Apart from walking on air, because apparently.
Yeah, walking on air and holding out a journal and just getting stuck.
Oh, and flying up in the air as well. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that little trick here. So there's a triangle prompt that I wanna activate it first to put me in the right position to set me up for it. It's right here. So I'm gonna activate it. I'm gonna tap forward, press triangle, and then press jump, and I'll climb up it without having to have Tenzin to boost me. Usually you'd have a cutscene where Nate goes to boost Tenzin, but then he changes his mind and Tenzin boosts you instead, but you can just skip it entirely. But as I said, this makes this next prompt sometimes try to warp you back, but I think the way around that is to just stand still when you press it. So right here, if I line myself up on this ledge, okay, I didn't do it because I'm really bad. If I was lining myself up correctly there,
is that the rope swing?
No, there's the part on the ledge where if you stand in this like hang on a specific spot, you can just jump to the left and skip having to climb down.
Ah, right, yeah.
It didn't work for some reason.
This the point that you see where you swing on that rope, if you don't time it quite precisely, Nate just doesn't jump properly.
So if anyone's actually played this game, this rope is like the most retardedest thing to exist. You need to wait a second, walk off the ledge, don't jump, and then let go of or press X really early to make it across. If you think logically, the later you press jump, the more chance you have of making it across. That's not the case in this game. The earlier you press it, the more distance you actually get when you jump off. And the reason we walk is because if you jump to the rope, you're actually higher on the rope, meaning it makes it a lot harder to get the distance when you jump.
Yeah. It's not just that. There's a glitch there as well. I don't know if you remember, Matt. If you time it right, you can actually get a boost off of the floor. If you swing back on the rope, it actually just sends you flying forward and off the rope. You get launched. Yeah, you can do that. It's really hard to get. But
you've done a lot of random crap in this game. I have no idea.
I have. Yeah. To be fair, even though I've not really run this properly, I have tried to glitch it.
Can you find a way to skip to chapter 16? Thanks.
But yeah, a lot of what I seem to have found is more collision related. So when it
this
comes
is
to the walls,
the Guardian right there, as you saw, sneaky little bastard. So this is probably one of the most retarded skips in this entire game. I really don't know how this shit got past QA, but to be fair, French found this not that long ago. We didn't even know you could do this skip this way. This even works on PS3, so this ain't a PS4 thing. So you're meant to fight the Guardian here and do loads of random crap if you've played this game, but all you literally have to do is just roll up this fucking rock and you can climb up here. I mean, I don't know. Don't ask me. That saves like 3 minutes, dude. Maybe 4. I don't know. Get this box down, across the rope, because ropes are hard in this game. So we can keep going around here by angling myself back and then climbing up. Saves a little bit of time if I get it first try, because I don't have to climb the other spots. Now I'm going to do a journal extend around this corner. Keep doing some climbing. And when my timer resets, that means chapter 18 is triggered there. So I checkpoint restart. And that puts me a bit further ahead. So now this has technically the skips I still do. This is the hardest skip in the game. This is the one that twat here can't do. I'd say this is the skip that made him not want to run this game.
Yeah, partly. But again, it's me just being impatient, really.
So basically, I'm going to do this part normally, and I'm going to hit a checkpoint. I have to hit this checkpoint because this skip's that hard that most of the time you're not going to get it first try. I have got it first try a few times, talked a lot of shit, and then failed the next part. So the hard part is the first part. The next part's the kind. Can you climb, please? Can you climb, please? Can you climb, please? Can you climb, please? Oh my god.
So yeah, if you don't climb fast enough, you the walls will go in really quickly and Nate will just fall to his death. But sometimes, for some reason, Nate won't actually climb.
So I trigger this checkpoint. I don't actually have to pull this switch, but I do it to get a checkpoint. So I need to basically do a backwards clip out of cover, where there's no floor underneath me, and get a frame perfect roll to roll and grab a ledge. Didn't get it. It's very, very precise. Now you'd think to yourself, oh, why don't you just mash it? Mashing to get this is a lot harder than actually just timing the press. Excuse me. Didn't even move. Usually I'm pretty good at this one, but today's not my day.
There is technically another little skip here as well.
What the? Okay.
I
think I'm pressing it way too early.
Possibly. But yeah, there is another skip. Obviously, it's not on the same scope as the one that Matt's trying to do, but you can skip a climbing portion with it. That's quite handy to do if you can pull it off. The one where you've got that weird bit of collision on the floor up above, and you can get the boost.
I can't do this. It shouldn't be taking me this long to do this.
So yeah, the collision is much like the same thing that Matt showed before with the mountainside, where you can hit a weird part of the collision and it will bounce Nate backwards and forwards. On this one, if you've got the right angle and you can actually do it, the game will boost Nate and send him flying. But if you get the right angle, you can actually skip the climbing portion, which is up above, where you've got the bells that are hanging down.
I can't do it. It's just not working. And when this skip doesn't work for me, it's a terrible experience, because usually, ever since I've started timing the press, I get it at least like third or fourth try. This is just not working at all.
To be fair, we can in this instance use the excuse that you haven't practiced this really at all because you haven't had the time to, because it is kind of a last minute run to fill in a slot, but it's not easy to do. It is hard.
I don't know. I'm pressing it right. It's just not working.
Well,
I
you
could
might have
just
to do
be
it the
getting
old-fashioned way.
unlucky. I am not doing this level normally. Okay, I got it. Now just don't fail this part, please, Matthew. Just do this part normally. Don't fuck this up. If I fuck this up, really sad. Okay. So I want to roll here, and then roll off this ledge, hit the trigger through the wall, and that skips the entirety of chapter 18. Do a little journal extend here. Doing this allows me to skip standing on the switch and watching the cutscene. It basically just going there for some reason gives you a checkpoint where these are already up. So it's a tiny bit faster. So like
George, the answer to your question there is no. Really no. I'm not good at this game. It's probably the only one that I'm not good at.
I don't even think Lauren's ever done that at all. Ever. Not once.
No, to be fair, I have got down to that cog on literally one occasion, and then I messed it up. And then after that, I wasn't able to do it.
I think it's just me. Dude. That is the hardest skip in the game that isn't chapter 17.
This is the point where the GDQ crowd sit there and clap and go, yeah!
Thank you for your enthusiasm.
I will be your GDQ crowd.
So, Don Chalet, I can't hear the game, but he says Don Chalet. Can't hear the game. I'm sad that I can't hear the game. But I'm going to be doing a neat little book launch here that skips this entire part. So you're meant to just wait for these guardians and then pull the switch to get up. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pick up the MP40 here so I can do a weapon switch. Anchor myself off this ledge, and I'm going to do an upwards airwalk and hit the trigger at the top of here to skip that. Because the trigger is actually on that by default before it even comes down, so we can skip waiting.
How much does that actually skip? It's a good few minutes, ain't it? Because you've got to wait for... Not
really. I think it's about a minute, maybe a minute 20. I found it. This was like 3 years ago. I have no fucking idea.
Actually, saying that, I think you're right. I think it is about a minute and 20, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So right here, we don't have to shoot this guy. You only have to shoot him once he hits us the first time.
The chat want to be your GDQ crowd.
Yeah, thank you.
I will be their clapping and their cheering for you.
Right, so this is chapter 19. Not many skips to talk about because this is literally all combat. One thing we do you mind, sir? One thing we can do is if we kill one guy and then just the armored guy and restart checkpoint, that despawns all the other enemies and we don't fight them all. That's slow.
Just to point out in this chapter as well, there's this cutscene, which is probably playing for you guys before I even get the chance to see it on this end, but that they shoot an RPG at Nate and he ends up behind like a little pillar.
Watch now, if imagine if I get it, dude. Well, I won't though.
Are you on about the airwalk?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is a really slim chance, and when I say slim chance, we're talking there's like
0.0000000.
Yeah, that you can get an accidental, I suppose, airwalk off of the pillar there.
I don't know what causes it, but there's an infinite airwalk that can happen in this game where it triggers and you walk through all collision. But we have no idea how to actually trigger it.
Yeah, I've got a sneaky suspicion that it is a lot harder on the PS4 version, because we've kind of worked out as well that some of the glitches in that they're easier to perform on the PS3 version because of the increase in FPS cap from 30 to 60, so more physics based.
Oh, he's not gonna grab that. Oh, he grabbed it. What a god. So I need to kill this guy with his good, or not. I'll just have this guy with his nice helmet punch me. Thanks, helmet guy.
This area with the tank can actually be a little bit annoying towards the end, because sometimes the tank will become like mega accurate and will just wipe you out in a few hits. Sometimes he's completely oblivious and
really bad.
can kind of ignore you, but
It was bad because I need to be fast to get the grenade off the guy before they climb up the ladder, and it, you know, grabbing the ledge at a weird angle. Then I had to. Then I got punched by the dude with the helmet because he's a helmet head, you know. Very sad. That was chapter 20. That was a very short chapter. I need to kill both of these guys because I want their Uzi. Uzi is very nice. Probably the best weapon to have in the game.
Yeah, they do a lot of damage, and
Very
because of their
fire
fast
rate.
fire rate, yeah.
So this way for Tenzin. We stand here so the tank doesn't actually wreck us completely. Basically on a timer of when Tenzin will open the thing. Nice climb. The more running, we don't actually shoot here. But yeah, like Warren said, the last part of this level with the tank is absolutely AIDS. Because the strat you can do where you can run right to the end, but it's really risky.
Yeah, because we don't actually know in terms of like the RNG and all that, whether or not the tank's actually going to pick up that you're there and will
Well, it's not so much
early.
that, it's so much that when you get to the section that you need to get, oh nice cover, when you need to get the RPG. There's like 4 enemies in that area, you got the tank shooting at you, and then there's a guy across the way with an RPG. It's so easy to die when you get to that part. So I'm going to play it safe and just take cover and try to take them all out. But it's just really random. You have to wait for Tenzin here. If we try to, I'm gonna die. Fantastic video game. I was literally holding forward and he jumped against the wall. Very nice. We have to wait for Tenzin because we can't actually climb through that window until he does. But we have to be fast because the tank's literally right behind. Even on Explorer do direction.
Yeah.
We can pick up some more ammo here.
There's a couple of scenarios where the game, I presume that in terms of Nate's luck, as the developers have now pointed out, like
can you press triangle? What the hell?
even on Uncharted 1, you get enemies where they're more than likely going to kill you in one hit, or they'll be close to, even on Explorer mode. Like the guys on the second jet ski part on Uncharted 1. They're really accurate for some reason, so the chance that Nate's going to die is actually a lot higher for some reason than in some other areas.
We kill these enemies just because it's a very tight walkways, and the problem with these enemies is not that they do a lot of damage, but if you get near them, they'll punch you, and most of the time you get stun locked and you can't actually move until you fight them back because this game's retarded.
Where the hell did he go?
That's word of the day.
Yeah, retarded. Yeah. This game is retarded. I love it. It's a great speedrun, but it's retarded. I like running this game at marathons and stuff. I hate running it for PBs. Fuck that. So here we go with the tank section. I need to basically follow a specific line because I need to be as fast as I can to stay as much ahead of the tank as possible, because I'm going to do this a very unintentional way. You're going to climb onto a bunch of these roofs and get RPGs, but I'm just going to go right to the final area because there's like 4 RPGs and the 3 in the back will respawn. So I just want to get there as fast as possible to kill it as fast as possible. But like I say, it's very easy to die once I get over here. So now that I'm here, I want to kill these guys as fast as I can. Kill that guy across there because he's an ass. Alright, I didn't die. I still can die though. I'm not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, no, it can still
the tank
happen,
can
unfortunately.
kill me.
Yeah.
Especially
Especially if you hit the wall in front of you. Yeah, if you stand out too long, even if you're partly exposed.
I didn't die, Warren! I always die on the tank.
GDQ crowd! Woo!
I always die on the tank. You have no idea. So proud of
No,
myself.
it is frustrating because, like what's been mentioned, even if you're behind the wall, you only have to have a small part of Nate showing, and if the tank hits the wall, even if he technically doesn't hit very close to Nate, the damage still gets through, and that's one-shot kill, so Nate can die, especially if you've already taken...
So with these cars, we just shoot the driver. It's actually funny to just shoot the driver and watch the car go... that one doesn't do it. Come on, these ones.
Are you on about the small jeeps?
Yeah, if you shoot the driver, the cars just like drive off the cliff. You don't actually have to shoot all the enemies, just the driver.
Yeah.
Because they aren't smart enough to switch seats, apparently. Right, if I kill this driver... See you, buddy! Oh. Nice.
I could just imagine them sitting there. Why is the truck so... Dave? Dave? Where you gone?
You should have seen that. So the car went off the cliff. And the dude in the back was just staring at me. He's like, oh no. It's all gonna end now. This is an auto-scroller, by the way. You can't speed it at all. Basically, do things and wait. And things happen. Oh, I was meant to. Yeah, I totally forgot I was meant to jump off there. Doesn't matter. It's not an auto. It's an auto-scroller. Doesn't matter.
The next couple of chapters, or next, is it the next couple of chapters or few chapters? There's actually a lot of glitching going on to skip.
Very hard chapter coming up next.
Yeah, it's very hard.
If I fail something, I'll lose a lot of time.
To be fair, if it probably weren't for chapter 5 and trying to perform the airwalk there and get the skip there, this is probably one of the places that you could lose the most time in the entire run, which makes it even more frustrating. Yeah, because where this is the later part of the game as well, if you lose a lot of time here, well...
Dude, you don't understand the amount of times I've died to that tank. I've lost so many runs to that tank. They just wreck me, dude. You need to play it so carefully.
Yeah.
So... Don't worry about the time I'm losing. I don't know why my record is 2:15. I have no clue. It's always the same. So I can do a little trick here when I climb up this ledge where I can skip having to shimmy across. It's also useful because it means I can climb up and silently take out one of the guys without having to actually fight them. So I'm going to try it over and over and over again. I'm not going to do it the normal way. It's not that hard, you just have to angle yourself correctly. If you're too far to the left, you'll just lock onto the ledge, and that's so.
Yeah. Oh god, that was a bit. My voice nearly went there.
I didn't hear anything. What do you mean? Really? So I want to basically just walk like here, and then jump, and then I can grab the other side. That's actually kind of difficult, but I always go for it just because it is best. So I need a pistol and a rifle. I don't know.
That's another thing as well. You need to be wary of the grenades you're carrying as well, because you need enough grenades to be able to carry out.
So in this area, I'm going to pick up 4 grenades. There's one on the table, like right to the right here. I also need to kill a lot of these enemies for the next area to start. There's a grenade right here. I need to pick up off this table. That guy.
Yeah, just to point out that the enemy in this area, if you don't kill enough and make the next wave of enemies spawn, you can't actually skip a part, because normally in normal circumstances you'd take out all of the enemies and then push the cart to protect you from the mounted gun. But on Explorer, depending on how many enemies you killed, you can actually do that earlier and get there earlier. So
also, I should point out that if I try to just jump across now when I didn't kill anyone. Like, you meant to push this cart to get across, but you just jump across here.
Yeah.
If I was to do that early, there's a death barrier and I'd just die. But you have to actually kill some of the enemies. It's like the game thought you'd be able to do that, but then they realised that, oh, you can just do it on Explorer anyway. There's another grenade here I pick up. Do you die, sir? Oh, oh shit. Oh my god. Don't kill me. I'm gonna use a turret to kill all these dudes. How many grenades do I need? I think it's 3.
Yeah, I'm sure it's 3, but I mean, if you wanted to be safe, just pick up 4.
But I don't know where the other one is. I usually pick up just those ones, so it must be 3. Because we're going to be doing a lot of airwalks. Right after this fight, I'm going to try to do a little trick where I can use, like at the start with Flynn, I use Flynn to flip through a door. I'm going to try and do the same thing here with Elena, but it's a lot more awkward. I'll try it a few times.
Yeah, it is a bit finicky to do with Elena at this point.
It's gonna take both of us to get.
Yeah, she's just. Okay. What? Excuse me? I'm just gonna do the normal way. I literally went to take cover on the other side and just rolled back in bounds. I don't understand.
I don't think I've ever actually seen that.
I've never. You mash circle to get out of cover when you get on the other side, but for some reason I went the opposite fucking way. So here I'm gonna do a regular airwalk, not one with a grenade. You rarely see me do them, but there's a checkpoint over here. Did you explain how to do the airwalk?
How to do the airwalk?
Yeah.
Not properly, no. So the way that you do the airwalk is that you need to position yourself in a way that, usually by aiming, that when Nate goes to do the animation of putting his gun away, if you time it correctly, especially with a grenade, because you can use a grenade to actually get yourself out of the airwalk, if you press the journal at the right time whilst moving forward, Nate gets soft lock into a walking position or a walking movement, and he will just walk off into the distance.
Yes,
and the only way to actually get out of it is with the grenade, basically.
Yeah. You just switch
or
guns
to get knocked
and then,
out of it,
and then press journal as he puts the gun away. It's really easy. But if you want to use the grenade, you just have to press grenade right before you press journal and keep holding it down.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing 3 airwalks here. I've already done 1. Now I need to airwalk across to this bridge. This one isn't that precise. I don't need... Oh, I actually made it right into the bridge. You can actually hit the wall on the right, and that will push you enough to the left that you can actually use the grenade to knock yourself and grab the ledge. But I did a perfect airwalk here, so I'm going to end up on the bridge. So I don't have to do that. I'm going to be able to walk.
Yeah. This one's not as bad as it used to be, because finding that out, you've got a backup anyway. So if you have gone slightly to the right, as long as you're like close to the wall, you can chuck the grenade or throw the grenade, and it'll blow up and then knock you into the grapple position for you to climb up. So
since I knocked myself out with the grenade, I can just start an airwalk again instantly. I'm going to pause here so I don't load into the collision, because I don't really want to do that, because I don't want to get stuck, because I'd like to actually, you know, not have to do all that again.
Yeah.
So this just skips having to do some climbing. I'm going to do a journal extend here to be able to grab this ledge. Now I need to do 1 more airwalk, but this one doesn't require a grenade, and it's pretty easy.
Yeah, the airwalk that Matt's referring to, so basically he airwalks into like a death plane or death barrier, and that is actually right next to a checkpoint trigger. Yeah. So you can use that to skip a large portion of this area.
Basically, I've just skipped the entirety of chapter 22 and about half. Or, no, not about half, but a little bit of 23. This might not work. I might be too far to the right. Oh, we were alright. So the checkpoint trigger right here is absolutely massive. As you can see, nice photo mode. We use photo mode just so we can see the level load a bit better. When the level loads, we can exit photo mode and then just restart the checkpoint, and that will put us right here. So we just skipped a lot of the game. Now this is a really hard upwards airwalk.
Yeah, it's very precise. There's a part of where you're doing the upwards airwalk that that has no checkpoint trigger, because we want to avoid that, so we can skip a fight that's in the next area.
If you this isn't the way I meant to do it, but if you throw a grenade here, sometimes it can knock you down as a backup.
Yeah,
it's really awkward. Basically what I'm trying to do is the ledge that I'm getting stuck on with my head, I want to get just above that so I can land on top of the roof, but it's really, really precise, and I suck at it now. I'm just gonna keep, like, if I can get this to knock me, then I'll just keep trying it this way. But getting a grenade to knock you down from there is just really inconsistent.
Yeah. Doing the fight's not actually that bad, but it would lose you probably about, what, 30-40 seconds?
I actually don't know. I'm really mistiming this timing for this. That's too high now. Yeah. So I need to go right up, but that was way too much. Because I want to land on the roof and use the grenade to regain control.
Just like to point out as well that sometimes you can actually do the airwalk. Like if you time it wrongly, you can actually go downwards instead of up. sort of has the complete reversal effect, I suppose.
Yeah, but this is probably one of the hardest ones to do. It's just, why is it fucking doing that? Just give me a big boost. I don't want any little pony. That should work. There you go. So now I'm on the roof. I knock myself out of the grenade. I have my camera upwards so I can actually see where I'm going. If I was to go too far to the left here, I'd actually hit the trigger still. I don't want to do that because I want to skip the fire.
And the trigger's actually much bigger than we thought it was. Because we were hoping at some point that we could try and avoid it from the left-hand side, but it actually extends quite a ways. So there's a gap on the right-hand side, and that's where we want to be.
I need to kill these. Basically, you would softlock here. But if you can just come to this other side, it spawns the last few enemies that we can kill, and that gives us the checkpoint to allow us to progress. And now I'm going to do neat skip. So I'm going to clip backwards at... Hello. I'm going to clip... hello, can you please take cover? I'm going to clip backwards at this cover. And then I'm going to jump to this area. Jump across here. Jump over here and drop down here, and that triggers a checkpoint. Well, that doesn't save much time. It skips a cutscene, a little bit of fighting, like a minute maybe. So we throw a grenade to kill those guys. Somehow these guys decided to spawn really fucking late. Well, that guy just spazzed out. Nice. So it took that long that the other guy spawned behind me. Fantastic. I don't know why those guys were so far back. Like, they should be here. So I thought they died from the grenade, but they were all the way back there for some reason. You kill these guys. I need ammo.
So yeah, sometimes in Explorer mode you can get stuck in a position where you're where you can still quite easily be killed by the enemy.
I want to jump forward a little bit here and then restart checkpoint. And then I just want to walk, because this makes Elena... You need Elena to trigger this next area. And we do this because it makes her get there slightly faster. If we just stick with her, she'll jog. I think if you leave her behind for too long, she'll... well, also, I'm going to do an airwalk here just because I can. Because it keeps the animation, so it's like I'm walking down the stairs. Look at that.
Some doors up here. I need your help.
It's also worth noting as well that sometimes the airwalks, depending on what gets loaded in and what doesn't get loaded in, if Elena's with you or another NPC, if the ground underneath them or if the area is going to unload, it kills the NPC player, which actually restarts a checkpoint and sends you back if necessary. Usually the NPC character I don't think really dies, but that causes them to die because you've got too far away from them and the game unloads.
Also, this is an instance where we can use triangle to clip through a rock. It doesn't save any time, but that's what happens if you mash triangle. Only do it to show it off. You still have to do this normally. Also, notice this ledge. So we need this rock to climb up to get up here, but apparently we don't. Look how I can't climb this right now. But once the rock comes down, I can actually just climb this. Rock is pointless. Jump across here.
Great.
So I've not ever seen anyone actually clip that all there with the triangle prompt. I think that's the first time I've seen that. I've not even tried it myself.
I thought you tried everything, why?
Nah.
So yeah, so we've lost our guns, so we can't do any fancy shit, sadly. So we have to do this part casually.
Yeah, this is the room with the Yetis. The Yetis.
Oh, do I remember the puzzle?
And the puzzle.
Oh, do I remember the puzzle?
And the puzzle.
I think.
Interesting fact with the Yetis. Interesting fact with the Yetis. You can actually just sit there and wait for them to do. You can actually just sit there and wait for the bug out if you climb up on the side of.
Oh, that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do something 10 times better.
Oh, really?
You'll see. You'll see.
And there are some different strats, like thing in the galleries and find a moon drop at the aircraft left. So.
No, don't. So I want to jump.
So it would be
Stop, Nathan.
A little bit about.
Oh, that'll do. Whatever.
And by the way,
that's terrible. I wanted to jump right across the gap, but I suck.
cares? We just have to get up high. It's like Stonehenge, isn't it?
What do you mean double audio?
Push this.
Sorry, it might have come through my headset when Matt shouted.
No, because I wouldn't have been able to hear it. I would have been able to hear it. I didn't hear anything come from your mic.
Oh.
Nothing has changed. I haven't touched anything.
It's fine now, apparently.
It might have been on their end. They might have pulled up the stream, so I don't know.
Possibly.
Anyway. So you can actually die here if you jump at a weird angle. You can fall down there. Then you have to do all that climbing again. Nobody wants to do that. So now we just have to wait for Lynn. There he is.
Because he's an amazing guy.
Let's open it up.
This one's fucking terrible, by the way. Now I've got to do a sick puzzle. Best puzzle in the game. We turn this one to the right once. It's very precise. This puzzle. It's really hard to remember as well. We turn this one right twice. Really hard to remember. Now over here we have to do some.
Is that sarcasm?
We have to do some really complicated shit on this other side.
Sarcasm.
So we grab this one in the middle and turn it to the right once and see how hard
I thought
that
you was actually being serious and I thought, hang on a minute.
Nice.
I'm crap at this, but you saying that it's very precise and hard to remember.
You can actually checkpoint restart after you do the final part and it puts you down the bottom, but I don't actually think that's faster than just jumping on.
There we go.
So I'm going to do an interesting thing here. We have to fight, well, we're allowed to fight the Eddies, but we have to wait. But I'm going to fight them. Or I'm not going to do what Warren was talking about. I'm going to cover clip into the floor. And if I do it right, hopefully the Yeti will just run into me and just keep running into me. So I'm going to cover clip here. Come on, buddy. Here he comes. He's not doing it. Run into me. Into me. Here he goes. Oh, messed it up. I guess that works too.
Wow. Okay, I've just seen it on my end.
He just doesn't know what to do. We have to wait, so
that's the first time I've seen that. I'm glad I've seen that. That's pretty good.
Oh, he's trying. Trying.
Wow.
The England match does start soon. So now we're on chapter 25. Nearly at the end of the game. Okay, very sad moment.
Woohoo!
This one's been fucking diabolical, by the way.
Keep going.
It's been fine.
Been terrible. The thing when I failed the 5 airwalk and I had to do that other part was, I haven't done that in ages, dude. Oh, anyway, so
this could have gone a lot worse, Matt. To be honest, seeing as you ain't practiced.
Good point. So I'm not gonna kill this enemy because it's funny just to watch him when it crashes into the thing. He's just trying to shoot me. Well, I don't know where he ends up after the cutscene.
I just love the fact that from my end, I've seen that guy, that armored guy with the shotgun, butts you with the end of the gun, but yeah, don't do anything, and you just jump punch him in the head, and he's dead. He's full of armor.
Yeah.
Nate's just like, listen, me and my wetsuit, we don't need no armor.
Nate just needs his ladies, and that's all he needs. Respawn. Just kill these dudes. These dudes die really fast on Explorer.
Yeah, they're actually quite a pain to deal with, ain't they?
Ass.
Even on easy, they're a little bit of a nightmare to deal with.
This guy's a real pain in the ass. So this guy takes a lot more shots than the other two because he's never mind.
Because he's a god.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna skip dudes.
That's for sure.
A little bit of
His name
climbing.
Hutch?
No, because it's not a dog. I'm gonna do a journal extend here to grab this ledge. It saves me having to climb around. We have to shoot some sap.
How you doing?
It's what we do. We shoot sap.
I know, but I don't know why. It's the way you said it. It made me laugh. I can't help
Some
myself.
Sap, dude.
Because I'm a loser.
Sap is flammable.
I know
just
that.
like the resin we found.
You emphasise the S on that sap quite a lot.
Sap. So we take cover here, and we can just skip and go through this. No big deal. I don't actually remember what that skips, but it skips something, I guess.
There's a climbing section, I think, that you need to get to in order to shoot the sap above.
Oh, okay. Well, skip that.
Above where it is, but yeah, you skip it basically.
What this elite glitchless one I said because he's gay.
Excuse me.
I'm gonna airwalk from here, into the final boss area with Lazarevich, hopefully. And that skips pretty much the entirety of chapter 25. This is one of the more bigger skips because this chapter is pretty long. I'm gonna play it safe and I'm gonna wait for me to stop fully.
Matt, can I just bring up a point? I noticed that you jumped to the right and spawned in Chloe and Elena. Is that the in thing now? Is that what they do in the runs? Because before you'd not spawn them.
I don't think it matters.
You'd go to the left and you do like a boost, wouldn't you, to jump over the trigger?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you hit the trigger anymore, I don't think.
Ah, right, okay.
Like, that was only with the way you used to do it. No fun as well, which we throw a grenade instantly, so we can use that as technically a piece of sap, and that does the damage to him. Shoot him again, shoot the sap. Second part done. This is still going to be better than my last shots fired run, so I'll take that. We shoot him again here. Shoot the sap.
To be fair, this fight's a lot faster now that a decent strat has been found to kill him off, because he can take a long time.
Now we have to run very quickly. He's right on your ass. And he's an asshole. I just want to play this safe. There we go.
Holy shit.
Now Lazarevich is dead. And now we have to run across this amazing bridge that collapses because it's amazing. You can actually die here, because sometimes this part just doesn't like to work correctly. And you'll jump to a ledge and you'll just fly off into the abyss. It's very sad. Jump across here. How far are we ahead of schedule, by the way? Because if so, I can just leave the final cutscene on for you guys to watch. But get ready on time. We start checkpoint here. Skips a little cutscene. And time. Wasn't even sub 140, dude. Fuck. Fucking terrible. His eyes were really bugged out in this one. I don't know if it was the skin. It looks like he's in low poly mode. What the hell? He was.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, because the skin is probably the whole model from Uncharted 1, which is a lower poly model.
No, I mean in that cutscene, he was low poly. When he was hanging off the ledge.
Oh god, yeah. Oh wow, I've just seen that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He looks like Plastic Man.
You know, save the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the commentary from me and Matt. By all means, give us a follow.
The cutscene on, or would you like me to?
And yeah, just so people know, anyone that's actually followed me today, I will be back to streaming at some point in the near future, because I'm not actually streaming at the moment because I've just moved house. So yeah, I will be back. But yeah, follow Matt because he's cool, and follow me.
I say I'll stream, but I don't.
He does sometimes.
Don't do this. Elena.
And yeah, thanks.
I still haven't got a confirmation if I can leave this cutscene on. I don't know if
Perhaps they are leaving it on.
you do this more often. What?